G'day listeners, welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and I'm pretty chuffed to be here for another week talking more sailing. Again, another amazing guest. Again, we're very pumped about this. So I better get my mate in, Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
Hey, bud.
Evening, Bar Karatians. Sore legs.
What have you done now? You've been hiking.
I've been hiking.
Right.
As I said a couple of weeks ago, the layoff has sort of decreased my fitness level, and I'm finding that hiking's hard.
Yeah, we've got Olympic athletes sitting here listening to you, just going, "What a whoosh!"
I know. That's why I brought it up.
All right, let's bring in the other bloke.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
Where'd you go hiking, BP? Mount Etchell.
Mount Etchell, yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely place just north of Sydney.
Yeah, exactly. Big week, man. And you'll be pleased to know it's been pretty much bar karate all week.
Oh,
been on reconnaissance.
that's a big word.
I'll be taking part in this year's Variety Club Bash with our good mate Snowdy.
This year's?
This year's.
The little short temporary
preparation for the Bar Karate Variety Club Bash next year.
All right.
Yes. Yeah, it's reconnaissance, guys.
Yeah, no one's complaining. Good.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
And I've got an idea, gents. And hear me out. It's not a statement just yet. It's an idea about the T-shirts.
Right.
And we can maybe go into it a little bit later. For all the Adelaide Bar Karatians, I'm thinking of hosting a afternoon session. So instead of having their T-shirts posted to them, and given that everyone's paid their postage fees, if they attend the afternoon session, I will purchase them a beer.
A beer?
Nice one.
You probably should buy them two.
A beer or two, correct?
Copy.
So not sure where, when, how, but this is a bit of an idea floating in my head.
Oh,
what do you think?
It's rife with danger. Rife with danger.
Yeah.
What do you think, though, guys?
Well, it depends. Have you got any cases of coronavirus left in Adelaide?
They've all gone.
Negatory?
So it's for the Adelaide Bar Karatians.
Yeah, well, then it works.
Yeah.
It works. I don't know. Do you like beer?
I'm partial.
Okay. Yep, copy.
What about the guys that have come? Do you reckon they'd like to have a beer? And girls?
No, of course.
Okay.
Everyone's welcome.
Sounds like you're coming up with some ideas. We'll go on to it first later on, but I really want to get our guest in. As you know, I was pretty keen to get this guest on board because I have a lot of respect for us. So shall we bring her in or?
Do it.
Happy to proceed. All right. So our special guest this week is a two-time Olympian, a Laser Radial sailor. Came fourth in the Olympics in London, came second in Rio, a silver medal in Rio, so pretty chuffed. Did compete in the Volvo Ocean Race in the last edition as part of the team on Turn the Tide on plastic. I think her first offshore moment was as part of the race from memory. Her mum is a former Olympic sailor as well, sailed in Seoul at the Olympics in the 470 class. I believe is the only living person in Ireland to have a plane named after her, which is pretty cool. She's a bit of an all-round legend. I think we were just debating before if she's the tallest female in sailing or not. We don't know. But anyway, let's welcome her to the show. Annalise Murphy, thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's great to be on.
Pretty cool introduction, eh?
Yeah, well, the airplane, it actually got sold to a football team, so I don't think it's called the Annalise Murphy anymore.
Well, maybe it still is.
Maybe my plane is flying around footballers around Europe.
Did you ever travel on that specific plane?
I actually did. I got to go down to the Moth Worlds in 2017, fly down from Dublin to Verona on it. So that was pretty good. I was actually wondering if I could bring my boat with me on the plane, which would have been even better.
Did you actually smash a bottle of champagne over the front of it before you left?
No. Be good for the passengers. Hang on a second, lad.
I got to wonder, though, like, if you have a plane named after you, right, there's nothing you can't do, is there? Like they can't. Did they charge you for a ticket, or do you just walk on and say it's my plane?
It's my plane.
Well, you know the saying, like, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
My dad's a pilot. So.
Yeah.
And this is my plane.
But the thing is, in Ireland, everyone called Ryan is just coming on a plane. That's my plane.
Yeah. Right. Hey, if your dad's a pilot, and I know he is, Con, your dad, it's Con, isn't it? Yeah. Did he just lean out the window and write Annalise on the side? And that's how it went?
just with a Sharpie. He was like, all right, we're going to call this plane Annalise.
It's upside down.
Oh, dear. No. Look, it's some pretty good bragging, right? So I must admit, if I had a plane named after me, it'd be pretty hard for anyone to have a peaceful flight, because I'd be on pretty much every flight just talking myself up. I know. I'll be roaming up in it. Yeah, I'm Jordan. Yeah, the plane's named after me. But
Well, you got shoes named after you, mate.
yeah, true.
You're
true.
not far off. Yeah.
It's not far.
Done okay in that department.
So with the because we'll sort of come back and get to the start of it, but like last Olympics, you got your silver medal, and for Ireland there were 2 medals won. A silver for you and a silver for, what's their names? I'm just trying to go my memory. Is it the McDougall brothers or something like that?
The O'Donovan brothers.
The O'Donovan brothers. That's it.
They basically became world famous for being as sort of West Cork as possible.
Yeah. I was,
And I know exactly what you're going to say here, Jordan. Oh, please say.
No, you go.
Are they gingers?
Redheads.
They're actually no. Paul's got brown hair.
Oh, they
Gary's
must be from
kind of,
East Cork.
I'd say he's kind of like blonde with a bit of red. But
Blonde with a bit of red.
I think all of the redheads went to Australia.
He got rid of them, shipped them off.
You're talking to 2 of them now.
Yeah. So it was like they did become world famous. Like it was crazy, just because of the accent, I think. So when you saw that, did you actually think, I might ramp up the accent a little bit and try and get a bit more global coverage? Is that what you thought?
I think that was definitely my plan. No, they're just like, that's just how they are in normal life. They weren't putting that on for the cameras.
Yeah.
That's just them as how they are all the time. So it was actually genuine, and I think that was why people kind of picked up on it. I think I was just getting through the Olympics, trying not to basically mess it up again. So just try to focus on that.
You must be kind of go on, BP.
I'll say everyone loves a good Irish accent, but you were obviously very focused on your sailing, so and you're just being yourself.
But you must be kind of famous in Ireland. Is it hard to walk down the street, or are people forgotten?
Not really. Like sometimes I don't know. Like sometimes people will stop me and or you say hi or whatever, but it's just. Everyone kind of just gets on with it. I also just try and not make eye contact with people too much, because I don't have to talk to everyone.
Where do you actually reside in Ireland, Annalise?
In Dublin.
So in Dublin, yeah. So, okay. It's not as though you're walking down the main drag in Cork or Galway or anywhere like that, where probably sailing is at front of mind. But I'm guessing you probably haven't spent a whole lot of time in Dublin over the last few years anyway.
No, I've been abroad so much. This is actually, I think, the longest I've been home for years, probably since I was a teenager. So it's pretty nice, actually. I thought, I was like, I'm going to be sick of this, but it's actually nice to not be living out of a suitcase and running around the place all the time, just to kind of sort of chill out at home for a bit.
Recharge. A lot of people have said that.
Yeah. Although, when the weather's bad, you start to think, I'd really like to be somewhere else.
Yeah. Well,
as you were saying earlier, it was summer today, and now it's winter.
No, it's still summer. It's not going to get winter until this evening. Yeah. Okay. We got about another, I'd say, 6 or 7 hours of summer. So make the most of it. Yeah, and then it's going to be like 12 degrees tomorrow or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we better rip through this interview because, we're recording on a Friday. It's Friday evening our time and Friday about 10 o'clock your time, 10 in the morning your time. So being a good Irish lass, have you gone to the pub yet?
Yeah, the bar's open.
No, so that is what people are missing the most in Ireland is there's been no pubs for
really?
4 months, 4 months, March, April, May, June. Yeah. So, people are definitely losing their minds a bit. There's like been all these like creative like takeaway pints services, or there's like guys going around with vans and kegs in the back of their vans, handing out pints out the back window kind of thing. But I think our pubs are going to open again, maybe on Monday. But there's loads of restrictions. Like it's not really it's not going to be able to. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be normal for a while. Although things are pretty good. Like,
and I don't think it'll be
coronavirus.
And I don't think it'll be a normal Monday either.
No.
Yeah.
It'd be mad Monday.
Everyone's just like, let's get to the pub.
It's like everyone's 18th
Monday. What are you doing at the pub?
So I guess, being an athlete, and genuinely though, like the other thing that's closed to the gyms and the access to training and facilities, and you are going to the Olympics in 2021 now, crazy Olympics. So how have you managed to keep going? Like, have you built a home gym? I kind of know. I watch your Instagram, so I know what you've been up to. But how are you managing to stay super fit?
Yeah, I found the whole like lockdown thing, I guess because I had nothing else to do, just sort of staying fit and strong was kind of the easy way to get through it. Like you lose your mind when you don't have anything to do with yourself, like there's only so much Netflix you can watch. Yeah. Like I put Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus. I've gone through them all
the subscriptions.
Yeah. But I just like built a little sort of home gym in my back garden, and then I had a turbo trainer, so I was using the online platform Zwift a lot to do a lot of cycling.
Yep.
But it's once there was like a rule that we were only allowed to be sort of 2 kilometers away from our house, and that was pretty hard because like 2 kilometers is not very far, so you can't really do anything. But then they brought it to 5k, and then now it's anywhere in your county, so I can go anywhere in Dublin. So it's like slowly got better, and just been training away, trying to like, I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm probably like more of a cyclist than a sailor at the moment. I've done like 7,000 kilometers of cycling this year. So
Did you do like a around Ireland thing, like on Zwift or something like that? Did I see that right?
Oh no.
Right?
No, I just a couple like 4 young 29er lads cycled around Ireland on Zwift, raising money for the RNLI. And they asked me would I join them for a couple of cycles. But I did like 2 hours with them.
Okay.
You guys are crazy.
Go with it.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a cycling event called Race Across America. And after the Volvo 14, 15 or whatever it was, when I got home for that, some mates of mine were actually doing it, where they race push bike from California across to Annapolis. And I went over and, I got landed at home after the Volvo and got a phone call saying we need someone to drive the media car. So I said, oh, okay. So I jumped on a plane and went to the US and went across with them. So I know the race pretty well. And because of coronavirus, it's shut down. So it's like a good 5,000 Ks across America. So they're doing it on Zwift or whatever now. They're doing it electronically now. Like it's literally going on right now. People are doing it. Rupert Guinness is actually doing it, Bossy.
Yeah.
So,
how's your media car going? Do you just go out and sit in your car in the garage and just make special comments?
Pretend to change gear.
That's awesome.
Make some noise.
So that could be another target for you, Annalise. You could be onto that.
Yeah.
How do you go handing the water out the window?
Sit on the other side of the car, driving the passenger seat.
Yeah. It's true. Oh, dear.
Very
All
fun.
right. But with the laser, like obviously back in the Laser Radial there, you can sail one of those by yourself. Quite easy to sail a laser by yourself. So you must have been able to sneak out for training sessions or...
I wasn't able to sail for about 6 weeks
Okay.
because because of this 2 kilometre rule thing. I didn't live within 2 kilometres of the sea.
Wow.
But then once that was done, I was back sailing. And yeah, laser sailing, like it's literally the most grim, socially distanced thing you can do. It's like just go out by yourself in this boat. Your legs are going to hurt, your knees are going to hurt, and sail around on your own. It'll be grand.
Mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Just mentally beats you down, laser sailing.
Oh, that's a good name for the next laser. The coronavirus.
All right. So let's get into your history a bit. We'll come back to that point where we actually get to the Olympics. But how did you start in sailing? Was it Mum just said you had no choice? Because I know your sister sailed. I don't know if your brother sailed at all.
Yeah. We sailed when we were kids. My parents actually had a boat called a Hurricane 5.9. It was basically a tornado, but it was able to fit onto a road trailer. You didn't have to put it on its side or take it apart. So that was what we learned to sail in when we were younger. My first experience of getting disqualified from an event was when I was 6, my brother was 4. My mum really wanted to do the national championships, but my dad was away working, so she just got me and my brother to crew for her as a 6 and a 4-year-old. And anyway, she got protested. She got protested for having
more than two people.
Did they really?
More than 2 people.
Who would protest
It was
that?
like, and so I'd crew and I'd trapeze, and then my brother would climb up and sit on her lap while she was trapezing and steering. And she did everything. Like she'd just give me like a rope to hold on to. Like I wasn't able to actually
pull it on.
6, I didn't have any strength to pull anything on. So I was just holding something, thinking I was doing, some work. But such great crack. And as a kid, you've no fear or anything. Like we did this race, the Cong to Galway race, and I was crewing for my mum, and it was really windy, but everyone kept on pitch poling. But I think because I weighed probably 30 kilos or something, I was a tiny child, we weren't pitch poling, and we ended up beating the speed record. Getting this record as a 6 or 7-year-old.
Wow.
But so dangerous. Now my mum would probably get thrown in prison for child abuse or something like that. But I thought it was great.
Wow. So
Well, it obviously worked out. So it gave you a bit of a taste.
isn't it ironic
Yeah.
though? Like all the people we've had on, I started in a Sabo, or I started in Optimus, or I'd started in something like that, and you're out there on basically a high performance catamaran as your first boat and on trapeze. That's just unreal.
Yeah. But my parents, they actually they broke the Round Ireland record in 1993. They did it with Steve Fawcett and Brian Thompson, actually, who I then ended up on Turn the Tide and Plastic with. And Steve Fawcett arrived over into Ireland with this trimaran Lakota. It had been, I think, it'd been PlayStation beforehand. And they wanted a couple of Irish people to join them for the record attempt. So my parents, who had 3 young children, were just like, yeah, grand, we'll do it. And they just left. And they said that they got the perfect conditions, a perfect weather system, where they basically just went downwind the whole way around Ireland.
That's right.
And my mum had a moment where she was like, we really should have made a will. Just,
I thought you were going to say, your mum said, can we take our kids?
I thought she was going to say, we left the kids at home, 4, 6 and 8 or whatever they were, and we forgot to go and do shopping.
We're going to go, makes us go faster.
It wasn't even, it was, we were 6, 3 and 1. We were proper babies, just left us with the granny. But they actually they broke the record. They did it in 44 hours.
There you go.
And they held it until 2015. They held it for 22 years. And then I think Fado now has it.
Yep.
So,
Mod 70. Yep.
Yeah.
So your dad was a sailor as well. Was he a sailor of note as well, or apart from Round Island record?
Look, he sailed a bit. He actually ended up coaching my mum at the Olympics.
Okay.
Nothing major.
So he was working in the Air Corps, the Irish Air Corps at the time. He was the pilot of the government jet, and he took some time off to coach my mum when she went to the games. But the two of them, they still sail together now. It's really traumatic. Like, I wouldn't recommend anyone to go sailing with them, because they just shout abuse at each other for the entire race. Both blame each other for things that have gone wrong. And then they come in and they're like, "That was great, wasn't it?" I'm like, "Well, that was the worst hour of my life." But they just forget straight away, because they've been sailing together for so long. They just think it's normal to just be like shouting at each other, saying each one is more stupid than the other.
What's the family boat?
Well, now they've got into like wooden boat sailing. They've kind of slowed everything down a bit. They sail these boats called water wags. My mum actually got into wooden boat building, and she built 2 boats over the last 10 years. So they're a clinker 14-foot wooden boat. They're the oldest one design dinghy in the world.
Wow.
It's actually really good racing. There's normally about 30 of them. They go out every Wednesday. They race in Dunleary Harbour. And then there's the 3 yacht clubs, and each Wednesday they go back for pints in a different club. It's all really social, but pretty competitive as well.
How many boats were there?
About 30.
30.
Sorry, how many?
30.
30.
Sorry.
It's okay. I don't think I'm not
First
that
one?
bad.
No. It's a bit of a standard joke. We've got, there was a phase where Irish pubs started popping up all around the world, and they were supposed to be staffed by Irish people. We always had this theory that your till would always end up with a number like it would be $5 turtle. So because everyone can do that little bit of Irish accent, they can just. So the tills were always rigged, and that's why the joke is where the turtle. That's all. We just.
I'm sorry, Annalise. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Did you? So had your dad got to know your mum before the Olympics, or did he just use that as his chance to try and pick up your mum? Was the whole thing? Or?
Swoop in. No,
Literally.
they met laser sailing when they were in their early 20s.
Ironic.
Yeah, I think my mum had a car with a tow hitch. So that was basically how they got together. He was like, "Oh, you've got a tow hitch. Would you mind bringing my laser to an event?" And,
the greatest pickup line in sailing.
That old trick.
Yeah. That old chestnut, eh?
Heard that one.
Tried and tested.
So
I see you've got a tow ball.
So I've just got to say to any listeners out there who fancy the lovely Annalise, obviously the quickest move is just to go up to her and say, "You've got a tow hitch on the back of that Mercedes," and see what happens. Is that going to work?
You never know.
I love it. You never know.
I have nothing to tow, but
oh dear. All right. So, let's get on. So you're trapezing at 6. You're breaking speed records. When did you start sailing for yourself?
Yeah, I actually didn't really then learn how to sail until I was 11. So I understood the whole principle of it, but I never actually steered a boat. So I got an Optimist when I was 11. I was already probably like 5'10" at that stage as well. Like when I was 11 years old, like I could have got into nightclubs. Like people thought I was an 18-year-old because I was so tall. And
I can actually relate to that. My daughters are the same. So yeah. And
my first day of sailing, they presumed that I knew what I was doing because they were like, "Oh, sure, you'll be grand." I sunk 2 mirrors. They both were flower pots afterwards. Like I T-boned them so badly, there was nothing left of them. But I decided it was probably for the best anyway. They must have been so rotten that I was just able to demolish them quickly with the Optimist. But that was kind of what I learned. And my sister, she was like, she wanted to go to the Olympics, and she talked about the Olympics all the time. And was just like, that's cool. Like, I'm not going to be good enough to go to the Olympics, but Claudine, she's going to go to the Olympics and I'm going to go and get and watch her. But then I'm just very competitive about everything in life. And my poor sister, like whatever she did, I was just like, I have to do it better.
Makes for a fruity Christmas lunch.
Like there was a few years where like it must have been tough being in our family. Like we were just basically killing each other all the time. But then I don't know, we just kind of got over it. We had a sports psychologist came over to like help us train together, and she came up with all these sayings. One of them was sister pro, and I'm not too sure if it really stuck with my sister or if we were just like kind of taking the piss out of it. But we then just used to go around and be like, sister pro. And the idea was that, you know, you have like such a good training partner when it's your sister that you're sailing with, that you can, you know, push each other a lot. And that was what we did then over the next few years. And then when I started to do well, like internationally, my sister was, she just kind of supported me and went back to being like good at all her like academic stuff and chopping people up and things like that. So
chopping people up.
Yeah,
you just say that.
Yeah. She's a surgeon now. Like I don't know how trusting I am of her. Like, you know, she's like always telling me, she's like, oh yeah, I like did this like procedure there. I'm like, she's that poor person.
Okay. Just to clarify, she's not a murderer. She is a surgeon.
And good at it. I love it.
What sort of surgeon?
Went back to being something she was good at.
What sort of surgeon, Annalise?
Ear, nose, throat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I might come and visit her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they do like a head reduction, head size reduction?
Jeez, you're rough.
I've actually got a giant head.
Oh!
Actually.
No, but it's terrible. You know, Christmas cracker hats, they don't fit my head. I try and put them on and they rip straight away.
Well,
or if I want to get a bicycle helmet, I have to get like the special, like extra large one.
I'll give you a line, Annalise. I'll give you a line because you're 6'1", just under 6'1". I'm 6'3". And people always say, oh, how tall are you? And I say, well, you know, 6'3", but I'm a 5'10" bloke with a 7'2" guy's head. You know, like I've just got this gigantic head on my shoulders, and you know, it's the better class of people. You know what that means.
And the normal manoeuvre would be the chin would then go onto their shoulder, and their head is bigger. Yeah, it's a massive scone.
Look, here comes a demonstration. Here we go.
We got a demo. We got the wife coming in.
No,
this is how he picked his wife up.
She's ignoring me.
No, she hasn't got the elephant suit on. She can't come in.
No, that's right.
So Jordan relates to this specifically.
Yeah.
Giant head.
And I continue to take the piss out of him as much as I can, whenever I can.
I have a theory about heights, like because so I'm 184 centimeters, which is like just over 6 foot. Well, it's like 6.5 maybe or something. But anyway, people are always like, "Jeez, Annalise, you're massive. You must be at least 6'4". I'm like, I'm not 6'4". But I just have this theory that there's just all these men in the world that are 5'9" that keep on telling people they're 6 foot. So everyone 6 foot is 5'9", which makes me 6'4".
Oh dear.
I think there's another side to that story too.
Yeah, there is. There's all sorts of stories we could go down. I actually used to do the court announcing for basketball, and I used to do the Australian team. So I was quite good friends with a lot of the Australian Olympic basketballers, particularly the women's team. So I did a lot of the women's stuff. And I remember I used to know, you know, the centres of the team. I was 6'9", 7 foot. And if I bumped into them in a pub, you know, like one of the girls, I remember distinctly one of the girls, she was about 6'9", 6'10". She saw me in the pub, come over and we had a chat, and then she'd wander off. And then afterwards, all these really, really short blokes would come over and go, who's that? Who's that? And I'm going, are you serious? Like, you seriously want to hit on that chick? Like, she just can't even see you. There's got to be you must get, do you get any short blokes approach you?
Yeah, some do, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, like like, hey, how's it?
Where's this going, Jordan?
Oh, just intrigued. I just got this theory about sort of people hunt for what they don't have. So, I mean, in Portugal, you must have been attacked hard.
All the like small Portuguese men.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on the 6'9" chick coming up to you, Jordan. I've got this vision of her walking up to you saying, "Hey, mate, you know what? You're not as tall as me, but you've got a head of a 7'2" bloke."
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving on. So your first Olympics, like, how did you get to good enough to be going to the Olympics?
Yeah, it all just happened very quickly. Actually, I don't know. I was sort of my first year in seniors. I finished 8th at the World Championships, which was
Unreal.
like a pretty big surprise. Yeah, like I went out there going, oh, just I hope I can. I was aiming to finish in the top half. Sort of was my goal, and I ended up just like I nearly had the best gold fleet series of anyone in the fleet, and I look back at it and go, jeez, I wish I could do that now. Like I was 19 and just wasn't really thinking. I was just kind of going on instinct.
I was going to say, was it what made the regatta for you? Just that fact then? You just sailed.
Yeah, I was honestly doing nothing fancy, just really simple stuff in every race, having good starts, not getting into trouble, like not, never like hitting marks or like I was never having to do turns or anything like that, and just made the whole event like very easy. And I was like, oh, maybe I can actually get to the Olympics. And I sort of just then progressed over the next couple of years, qualified for the Olympics at the end of 2011, which was pretty exciting, like, getting to qualify for my first Olympics. And I was...
How did your sister take that?
Oh, she was really happy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Yeah, she was. We were good at that stage. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a pro. Woo.
Yeah. And just got to the London Olympics and I was feeling pretty good. I knew I was fast. Like I was super fast, particularly in Weymouth. It was I'd done like sort of 6 months training there beforehand. At the World Cup events in both 2012 and 2011, I'd been third. But I felt, I felt good, and we went out and did the practice race, and I knew I had a speed edge on the other girls because I'd been training I had kind of stopped training with the other girls and was just training with one of the young Irish guys for the sort of 3 weeks before the Olympics. We just worked loads on speed stuff, and the practice race, I was miles ahead of the first mark, and I was like, I'll just keep on doing this for for the games. And first day started and went out and like easily won the first race. And second race, I was actually coming second. I was behind the Belgian girl Evie, and I crossed behind her, and I was on the lift. And she turned to me and she was like, "You're just too fast." I was like, "Well, I'm I'm definitely going to beat you now. Like, you can't say that."
Yeah. She's a bit bossy, old
sledge. A little bit of sledge there.
She's a bit bossy, Evie.
And I remember thinking, I was like, every race, I'd be like, you just have to hike as hard as you can for just this race, and then that's one less race you'll ever have to do in a laser again. I was like, counting down the amount of race I have to hike.
It's a familiar story, isn't it? It's a familiar story amongst laser sailors. It's one less race I have to do. It's closer to the end.
One less race I have to hike. So I won the first 2 races and it was class. But I'd had like quite a lot of days where I'd won 2 races. I'd won 2 races at the World Championships the year before, and so I wasn't too. I was like, that's a good day, but I'd just go out tomorrow and try and sort of keep on going. And the next day was going to be 1 race inside the harbour and then 1 race out on the Noth course, which was the medal race course. So I knew it was going to be very different, like basically 2 different race courses, different day. But the second day I went out and I won both races again. And then I started to freak out a bit because like that's what you dream about is going to the Olympics and winning all the races. Yeah. But it doesn't actually happen, And it was happening. And then there was loads of Irish media when I came in from sailing, and they throwing out all these numbers. Oh, nobody's ever won the first 4 races of the Olympics, like all this sort of stuff. And sure, I was totally freaked out. Like I wasn't really ready for that. But I kind of just like hung on in there for the rest of the week. But 3 other girls also sailed really well. Lily, Marit and Evie. And the 4 of us ended up on basically equal points going into the medal race.
Wow.
And I was like, I was annoyed because Lily and Marit were on 33 points and myself and Evie were on 34 points. And I was just like looking at the laser men. And I was like, if I was on these points in the laser men, I'd be guaranteed a gold or a silver.
Yeah, sure.
Here in the girls, like one of us is going to come fourth.
Yeah.
But I was terrified about finishing fourth. Like I wasn't even thinking about the possibility of winning. All I could think about was what will happen if I finish fourth. And so I went out into the medal race. I was actually first at the windward mark. And then I just freaked out on the first downwind. I'd been on the way out to the race course. I hadn't felt good downwind, but I was afraid to sort of say to my coach, I don't feel good downwind, because I felt like if I admitted that I didn't feel good downwind, then it would be true. But if I just said to him, hey, I don't feel good downwind, he could be like, oh, if you try doing this, I probably could have solved the problem very quickly and I would have been fine. But I didn't, and just melted down by myself. I hung in for the whole race, but I ended up, Evie got me just at the last mark and ended up fourth, which is crap.
Yes.
There's nothing good about finishing fourth in the Olympics.
Massive psychological lesson though, like in how the handling of race psychology there, isn't there? Like a huge one. So.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And like, I think if I'd got a medal in London, I wouldn't have gone through the things that I needed to do to win a medal in Rio. I wouldn't have learned all those lessons. Like Rio was a totally different venue for me. It was like much lighter winds. I was so hungry for 6 months before Rio. Like if anyone even mentioned food, I'd basically deck them because I was just hungry all the time. Just like always hangry. Like someone would look at me funny and be like, what the hell is your problem?
Give me a Mars bar.
But don't give me a Mars bar, you know. But yeah, it was still such a class experience, like London Olympics. Like then afterwards, going up to London and like going to all these crazy parties, like full of Olympians. I was like, I didn't even know this thing existed. Like these athletes are nuts. Like sailors are very tame compared to the other sports.
It's true.
Well, what's your best story from the Olympic parties? You don't have to mention names, of course, but that will help for the story.
I don't know. Just there was like an Oakley party, and there was like quite a few sailors going. I don't know how I managed to get a ticket actually, but anyway, I arrived in there and I walked in, and it's the first time I was like, why the hell didn't I wear high heels? I am the smallest person in here. I'm not even an average height girl. I am a short girl at this party.
Oh dear.
It was all like volleyball players and swimmers and stuff. And I was just walking around. I was like, so this is what it feels like to be small.
Wow.
Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the Oakley party is quite renowned actually in the Olympic circles. I do know a few stories from the Oakley house, so but I'll keep them offline. different sports. And so then you managed to get the medal in Rio, as you said. I mean, one of the things when I look at you is, you know, you're kind of blessed being tall. Laser loves a tall person. So, you know, I've seen so many young lasses who are trying to get up to weight and they're 5'6", and I just, you know, you just think, you're never really going to quite break through because you haven't got the leverage that someone like you has. So you should have a speed advantage. Do you feel that when you get on a race course that this is yours to lose sort of thing? Are you at that stage now where you just expect to win or not?
I think, being tall, like as much as there's definitely things like I don't like being tall for, like just general life, getting told that I'm like tall the whole time. intimidating every guy I talk to. But it's also that being told is what's made me a good athlete, I guess. I wouldn't probably have had the success in sailing if I didn't have this height. The laser, leverage plays such a big part in it. If you can, basically when I hike hard, my giant head is way further out than someone who's who's smaller than me, and it just gives you a big speed advantage. It's I definitely, and I love it when it's windy. I think it's because I'm taller, it's easier for me to throw the boat around a bit when it's windy as well. So, and maybe just also, I guess that's what I enjoy. Like, I then have the other problem where I'm always trying to diet to be the right size for the Laser Radial. So, it's definitely not easy for me, but then when it's windy, I have a good time.
Do you like the mind game side of it now? Like, now that you've been in the class for so long, and do you play little tricks on your competitors, especially if it is going to be windy? Because they know that you're going to be quick, right?
I don't really. I think I'm probably just really honest. Just like say exactly what I'm thinking, and I think that might freak them out even more.
I'm trying to create a bit of a campaign that we get more banter back into the sport, especially with these guys with Sail GP and stuff. So I think you should actually, next time it's windy, you're going to be quick, you should actually just walk down to the boat with the Tiger playing in the background or something like that. Just to really intimidate your competitors.
I'd love you to pop out our good friend Fritz's line. Jordan, you're probably good at explaining that one. The you're going the wrong way one. That's what you should do.
Yeah, so I'll give you this one to use on the course. Annalise, is
this is straight from bar karate. When
you're going upwind and you have a cross, like when Evie leaned out the back of the boat and said, "You're too fast," next time in that situation, I know Evie's not racing anymore, but to somebody else, as you cross tacks, what you lean across to, you lean back and say to them is, "One of us is going the wrong way."
It's a beauty.
It's true. It's true as well.
I'm glad.
One of you is going the wrong way.
I'm glad you said that one, Jordan.
It throws their psych right out. You often see them tax straight away. All right, let's quickly touch on. I'd like to quickly touch on getting your medal, and then I'd like to push on a couple of things. So obviously, you went to Brazil and you broke that hooter. You broke through that psychological barrier. As you said, you had to starve yourself. So, you must have had a modelling career on the go, being super skinny and this tall as well. Like before going to Rio, was there all that sort of stuff going on as well?
Oh yeah, my spare time, I was like Zoolander.
Always looking left.
It's all the chisels.
The chisel.
Yeah.
How was winning that medal though? How was it like?
It is class. I guess there's some people, and I think like they're born and they're like, I'm going to be an Olympic champion, and they genuinely think it. Well, like I didn't think that. I was like, I was always like, oh geez, how the hell am I doing so well here? These people are way better than me.
Yeah.
So to actually, like the Olympics, like they're hard. Like everyone puts so much into it. Like it's, this every 4 years, it's like, this is the only thing that really matters. And it kind of like decides your happiness or not really. But I think I went into it, I'd had like bad time in the year beforehand, just basically being told, oh, Rio's going to be a light wind venue, you're not going to be able to perform there, and just kind of losing a bit of confidence as well. Like I wasn't too sure if I was good enough to do it anymore. And then I just kind of got all my confidence back, but I was also just accepted that I was just going to go and sail well and have a good time, and not be, if sailing well and having a good time was finishing 10th overall, I was going to be happy with that. And that's kind of how I went into the event. I also just committed to everything that I thought was right. Like, I never doubted my decision making. I'd start races and I'd be like, I'm going this way because I think it's the right thing to do. And I wouldn't be like, sometimes in racing, you're like, oh, I don't know, like you're sort of second guessing yourself. You're thinking maybe this isn't the right thing to do. Well, I don't know, I managed to just get rid of that. And the whole week I made decisions of, I was like, I'm going to go this way on the race course. And if it's the right or the wrong thing, that's fine. And most of the time it turned out to be the right thing. And even a few races where it wasn't the right thing, because I'd kind of committed so hard to it, I still ended up doing okay in the race. Because I guess everyone else is kind of like not really doing the right thing either. So I'd still kind of come out the best out of that side. And yeah, it was just, I actually had a really just great time. Enjoyed it. My whole family were out. And yeah, then finally, like in the medal race, I was the night beforehand, like I was starting to feel a bit sick. So I was like, I can finish fourth again. Like, this is going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Finishing fourth at 2 Olympics. And I had an Airbnb and there was a little sort of pizza place across the road. I went in and Rory, my coach, Sarah, went there, a Kiwi girl who was my training partner, and Matt, our 49er guy, they were in having dinner. I just went into them and I was like, lads, I'm absolutely shitting myself. I was like, I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. Like, I'm actually really stressed. But I like, that was the learning point. In London, I felt like that, but I didn't tell anyone. I just kept all of those feelings to myself, being afraid, but actually sort of saying them out loud. I was like, oh. And then Matt goes, Annalise, you need a beer.
Hey,
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, so we all had a bottle of beer, and I hadn't drank anything in 6 months because I basically was living off a diet of lettuce and carrots. I was like, I can't have beer. I wouldn't be able to have any food for the rest of the day if I had a bottle of beer. But I was like, at this stage, I was like, I can probably have a bottle of beer now. But I was hammered after the one bottle of beer.
Passed out.
So, yeah, like I was really lucky that like I was staying just across the road. So I just basically tottered back over to my apartment, passed out, had the best night's sleep ever. And I think it was the best thing I could have done. Like,
I love it. Love it.
So I've been telling you guys about this theory.
Yeah. You have been telling us.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, I thought this is the whole reason we started doing bar karate is so Olympians, when they're stressing out, could listen in just before their medal race, and we can put anyone to sleep.
Well, especially when you get into one of your monologues.
Yeah. Idiot. Anyway.
So there you go. So the key to the silver was a beer.
That's great.
I think it actually was because I had a really good night's sleep. If I hadn't slept that night, I might have gone out and been like really out of it because I hadn't slept. So yeah.
So, but you didn't wake up with a hangover, so that would have been right because you only had one beer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So for all the Irish listeners out there, and every Irish person needs to circulate this episode of Bar Karate all around Ireland, at the Japan Olympics, going into the gold medal race, I want every Irish person to send Annalise a beer for the night before. Everyone in Ireland, send her a beer. That's got to be the commitment. That's where you show the love. No text, none of this crap where you're just saying, go. Just send her a beer. She'll know what it means. It means love. Yeah. It means you're on her side.
Like, what happened, Annalise? Well, I had 45 beers last night.
Yeah, there was this thing put out in 2020 from Bar Karate, and now I've got all these beers.
And send Bar Karate beers.
Yeah. Karate, I believe they call it in Japan.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so you won the silver. You're in Brazil. Was there any stories from the parties there? Because you don't have any good parties in Brazil.
Did you have a beer?
I did. Yeah, I'd actually. So because I've been on a diet, my basically conversation topic with anyone for those sort of 6 months beforehand was pizza, cake, and beer in that order.
Yeah.
I just talk about that all the time. I must have been so boring to be around because I would just be like, oh, wouldn't it be great to get some pizza and cake? People are like, no, like there's something wrong with you. So I actually ended up not even getting any pizza or cake that night as well. I was disgusted. But we went and got caipirinhas after the medal ceremony, and those things, like, they're just like pure cachaça or whatever. They're like there's no mixer though. There's just like a spoon of sugar and some limes and pure
that's
alcohol.
the mixer. That's the mixer.
The sugar.
So with that, and then my mum at one stage, she was standing on the bar in this nightclub in Lapa with spraying people with champagne with Gary O'Donovan, who was one of the medalists, the rowers. The two of them standing on the bar spraying people with champagne.
Fantastic.
She's like, I was like, everyone's having a great time, but I feel like one of my family members is going to get arrested tonight.
Yeah, you're in Brazil.
Yeah.
But it was class. Everyone was just so happy. That was the best bit. It was such a big team effort with like loads of people helping me to get to that point that it was like, everyone was just in great form, and that was what was cool.
A big release, yeah.
So parties, Olympics, that then takes us to the Volvo Ocean Race. There were plenty of parties, of course, but tell us about that little journey, how that came about for you. Was it something you were pursuing, or it was just something that just popped up?
Yeah. So I've followed the Volvo Ocean Race my entire life, and just like, those people are nuts. That is way too hardcore. Be watching it going, that looks awful. But I was backside sailing the Laser, and I was doing a lot of moth sailing in 2017 as well. And Dee Kfari sent me an email asking, did I have any interest in going offshore? I was like, well, don't know if I do.
I've got an account in Jersey.
I'm just letting it sit there.
Like Cayman Islands. But anyway, she asked me, did I want to go down to Lisbon and go for a spin in a Volvo 65.
Meet up with your Portuguese friends.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I sent her back an email. I was like, I get really seasick, and I've never been offshore, so I probably won't be very useful to you. But sure, I'd love to come down and go out for a spin, kind of thing. So we went down, and I was doing a trial with maybe 10 other people, and we headed out from Lisbon and went just sort of up and down to the Algarve and back. And like the first 24 hours, I genuinely thought I was going to die. Like, I get so seasick. Like, it's so bad. Like, I feel like, how people say about the seasickness thing, that like you feel like you're going to die and then you actually wish that you were dying, kind of thing. That's me. Yeah. Like, it's so bad. But actually, after 24 hours, I started to feel okay again, and then I was fine. But I was also counting down the minutes till I could go back in and have a shower. I was like, this has been grand, but when are we going back in? I kept on being like, are we nearly back in Lisbon yet? They were like, no, we're like 200 miles away. And I was like, what? I came in after the trial, and Dee and Phil Allen sat down with them. They were like, well, we'd love to have you on the team. I was like, guys, like, are you sure? Like,
yes, you were the less seasick out of all of them.
Probably the strongest, I would suggest. There was a fair bit of strength in you.
I was I feel like we had a different experience. Like, I don't think I was really an ideal Volvo Ocean Race candidate. But anyway, I was like, I'm gonna have to think about this, because this is kind of like, I don't want to just say yes and not really want to be there. But I got home and like sort of spent a lot of time thinking about it. And I was like, when am I going to get an opportunity to do a Volvo Ocean Race when I'm 27? Like, it's just an amazing chance to, like, first of all, get to do this epic race and learn a new skill. And I was like, and how bad can it be? It's only 9 months.
And how bad can it be?
There were some bad times. Like coming into Hong Kong, like the only thing that got me through those last 5 days was that I was going to get off the boat, get an Uber to the airport and fly home and then never go offshore again. But then I was convinced it probably wasn't such a good idea because I hadn't showered in 3 weeks and they probably wouldn't actually even let me on a flight in that kind of state.
So are you glad you did it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did it. Like the life lessons I learned, and also just like the sort of the friendships you make with people doing something like that.
Yeah.
When you're kind of like, you're sort of, it's nearly like survive. Like sometimes it felt like you were just like trying to survive through the day, when it was particularly when you were so tired and it was so windy that it was just like getting through the day, and you finish the race with this bunch of people that you've gone around the world with. Like that's something that I'll always have. And just like the life lessons of being able to let things go. Like that's, I think the race taught me like the importance of being able to realize, that people just are having a bad day and you just have to get on with it and not take things personally, and being really patient. Yeah. It's like, so glad I did it. Like,
what's your
really the hardest thing I've ever done, but glad I did it.
What's your fondest on water memory when you're out there?
I don't know, like probably like when you find the mango hasn't been eaten by everyone already, the dried mango.
Oh, that's fair enough.
But that'd be the highlight. But also seeing like like when like you'd see a pod of whales or something like that, that would be pretty amazing.
Yeah, and just from a bit of experience, you forged some unbelievable friendships. Do those friendships now that you would have forged during that time, like they carry on now? Like that's now part of your day-to-day life?
Yeah, definitely. Particularly Bianca Cook and Francesca Klapchich. Those two girls are just fantastic. I was actually friends with Francesca before because she had sailed the Laser Radial at the London Olympics.
Oh yeah.
And she let me cross in one race. I was on port and she was on starboard, and she could have made me tack, and she let me cross. And it meant that I had a good race and she had a bad race. So I'm always like,
someone's going the wrong way.
But I was always thankful for it. I was like, oh, Fra, you let me go in that race, and that meant a lot to me. Like that was, and she was like, oh well, I knew that you needed to have a good race.
Did we congratulate Francesca on getting married? Did we say that at all?
No, we didn't.
I don't think we have. Yeah. She got married a few weeks ago.
Yeah, massive congrats.
It was a Zoom wedding.
Yeah, big congrats. What? Lovely lass. Yeah. Hey, on that theme that Bicey's started on, are there any special friends you had on the race that you don't want us to mention? Special friends?
Not really.
That's all right. We'll talk offline on that.
I'm not sure where that's going.
Onto it now.
No, I think you know exactly where it's going, and you've deviated well.
Sorry, I'm being naughty.
I'm not a part of that.
Yeah. We'll talk offline. What was I going to say? I completely forgot now. It's just been... and what about Bianca with her team? Are you going to... if she rang up and said, let's go, would you go down or not?
Oh, no, I've told Bianca, I'm like, there is no way I'm sailing around the world.
Did she call you?
I was very honest about it, but I said that I'd love to go to all the nice places. I was like, I could be like the team motivator, or I could. I'm actually a professional chef. I did a 3-month professional cookery course, so I'm always like, I could come and be the team chef. Go to all the nice places and cook people some nice food, but not actually the actual offshore thing. Yeah. It was great, but it's good to have done it, and I think when people are doing it again, they are mental. I think it's like the thrill of doing it.
Yeah.
Even though it's really hard, maybe it's very hard to recreate that in normal life. Yeah. And that's why you want to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
But I got enough thrills from one race.
That's it.
Done and dusted, we say.
We're just about we've pretty much run out of time. We haven't actually come on to going to the Olympics for 21. We haven't gone through the build-up. We had your little 49er FX adventure and so on and so forth. So I think we might have to go second, another round with you at some stage. But
another one.
Just before we do, sort of call it quits. Going in to Japan, obviously the delay throws things out. You know, you did go off and do the 49er FX for a while, and when you came back to the laser, I could tell just looking at your results, your legs weren't there initially, but then you could see by the time the Worlds came around, your legs had started to come good, and you just had a couple of black flags and a few OT over the lines and stuff, which sort of threw out. But you could tell that your fitness had come back. Is that a good assessment, do you reckon? Or
yeah, laser fitness, it's absolutely brutal.
Yeah,
like just like hiking just really hurts.
Tell me about it.
I was like, I'm fit. I'll be able to get back to this, no problem. And it did. It took like 6 months to get it back. And then the Worlds. I was like disappointed at the Worlds. Like I was sailing, like actually things kept on going wrong. So I was just accepting. I was like, I'm probably not going to win these Worlds because things keep on going wrong. In the last couple of days, like I got black flagged. I got 2 yellow flags in one race. Like I never get yellow flags. I was just having one of those weeks. But in my mind, I was like, it's okay, you know. Maybe it was better not to win the Worlds because the Olympics are in 6 months' time, and that's what I want to peak for. But now the Olympics are in a year and a half.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really could have done with that, like, keep me going bit. But it's. I think it's probably better for me having the extra year to sort of prepare for the Olympics and having had less time in the laser, and also because I haven't been basically hammering myself away in the laser for the last 4 years. I'm more motivated to train and to try and improve with things. Cool.
All right, boys, we're out of time. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we go at all, or?
No, I'm just looking forward to the Irish ocean race team. Yeah, had a plane named after you. Maybe there will be a boat named after you, skippered by you.
You missed. Not a chance, mate.
No, there's still time. You're only 30, right?
I know. It's a long life of sailing left, hopefully.
Cool. Well, we hope that too. I think we're going to have to talk again because this has been a ton of fun. I don't know if you had a good time, but we did. So
yeah. Oh, I absolutely love doing Zoom calls. Like you don't seem to like. Life has been very grim in Ireland. You're probably having a lovely time in Australia, but like you basically don't see people anymore. Like literally living in like isolation for the last 3 months.
Booking your timing for when the pubs open in Ireland on Monday.
We should do a live cross.
You'll be back in.
We'll call you straight at the pub. It'll be great.
We'll do a live interview.
This has been great. All right. Let's call it quits there. Thanks again, Annalise. It's been a ton of fun.
Cheers.
And we'll talk to you some more. Best of luck.
Thanks, Annalise.
Good to meet you.
Good to see you again. And
cheers, guys.
Look forward to seeing you soon, whenever that may be.
Good crack, boys. Good crack. Hey? I love that statement. The Irish, they've got it going on. Actually, we've got a bit of a theme going on with our special guests over the next 3 weeks. See if people can work it out. But that one, did you boys enjoy that conversation?
It was an unbelievable crack. I'll attest to that. And what a fantastic guest. And at 30 years old, she's experienced.
And how old? How old?
30.
30.
30.
Got her there, but actually, she actually said 30 quite well. So
yeah, travelled well.
Travelled.
Yeah, what a fantastic individual. Wish her all the best for the future.
Yeah. She's a good talent. Good fun. She's, you know what I like about her is that whenever I see her, she's always happy. Like she seems to be happy all the time. Yeah, she's always in the middle of having fun. And maybe it's just an Irish trait. Maybe it's her.
Yeah, I was going to say, not taking anything away from Annalise.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a bit of an Irish trait.
Yeah.
Oh, but to her confession, you mustn't have seen her before the build-up of the games, though.
Yeah, you're right. Like that before the gold medal races, yeah.
She might not have got her on the show if you'd met her then, right?
But we are deadly serious to all the Irish fans of Annalise.
Yeah, we are.
Circulate this episode. Make sure that on the night before the gold medal race, she gets a beer delivered. Like beer after you all send her a beer. She loved it. We had a little bit of a chat between recording and then and doing this little outro, and like she will know exactly what you're doing if you do send her a beer. She won't necessarily drink them, of course, but it'll be a good one.
Yeah, here.
Cool. A tiny bit to discuss this week. I'm quite excited by this bit of news, the announcement from the CYC of Australia, Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, that they're entering a team into the Youth America's Cup. Obviously, I do have a little bit of bias about what's in that team. Very happy to see one of the sailors making it into the team. Did you see this news, boys?
Absolutely did.
It's how cool would it be to be young kids of this age to be able to sail boats of this calibre?
Yeah.
It's one, to bring in that whole Youth America's Cup thing is super cool, but two, to be sailing in boats which are fully falling, which has been done beautifully between the likes of Ian Cook with YDL and the New Zealand marine industry and what have you, and they just came up with this fantastic vessel.
Yeah.
But it is literally creating the stepping stone for these young guys and girls, which is all.
Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned before, the inside gossips, they're actually very good to sail as well. They're actually enjoyable, and so I think it's going to be a good format, and it's going to get some good racing happening.
What's the crew composition again?
I think they go. I'm trying to do memory, but isn't it 2 men and 2 women?
I believe so. Yes,
is the setup. So yeah, it's perfect for them. Like, obviously, being on the racetrack in and around the America's Cup and all the sailors, that I know the CYCA team will be pretty expectant, given that they've won the last 2 Youth World Match Racing Worlds, so they'd be pretty fired up going into this event. Obviously, the Kiwi team from Auckland's actually out there sailing on the boat, so they're going to have a massive advantage coming into it. But I think some of the teams are going to start heading over as soon as the bubble lets them. I will tell people the dates. So for those who are into it, the February 18 to 23rd, March 1st to 5th, and then March 8th to 12th is when the scheduled Youth America's Cup is going to take place. It's for the off-sailing days for the Prada Cup Challenge Series. So there's no reason not to be in New Zealand come the America's Cup.
It's going to be a big few weeks for us, isn't it?
Assuming...
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Assuming we can travel.
Yeah, well, we'll be right.
Yeah. Our partnership and our boat, our super yacht that we're going to have all the people on may not have any people to go on it.
We'll just have us 3.
A little tinny.
Yeah. I'll bring my tinny. The beauty is we'll be able to fit it on a plane.
Yeah. Well, Qantas will take anything right now, right?
Oh, we'll go on the Annalise Murphy. We'll fly on that one. We'll get.
Charter the Annalise Murphy. Yeah, that's it. We're going to be busy. There's definitely 4 weeks of busyness right there.
But speaking of listeners, men, because that's who we'll obviously be pushing out to during the America's Cup, not only on the water but also off the water, which is our plan. But for all our listeners out there, if you have not subscribed to the website, please do it, because there's going to be some pretty cool things coming up for subscribers only. So go to the website, barkarati.com, subscribe, and just on that, last week of ordering T-shirts, this will be kind of our biggest range, biggest size, like difference between all the sizes, and possibly our lowest cost just due to this initial kickoff. So get on board this week. The first production run orders will shut this Friday.
Yep.
Coming up. So what's that, Friday the 3rd?
Yep.
Is that right? Yep. So get on board, tell your mates, get everyone. There will be things available after that, but please do it. And then we're into mass production. And again, overwhelmed with the response, overwhelmed with the orders. So keep it up. And again, just give us a like and rating on our socials, because that always helps, and it's going to only give everyone a better experience.
Well said.
Yeah. So there will be a much reduced range once we're not doing customised or orders specifically for what you want. We'll just carry a little bit of stock, so you'll have a lot less choice. And as I said, the cost may go up. The other thing I'd like to do, guys, this quiz show thing, I think we're going to do a few of those. Like probably we're targeting one a month at the moment. But I would like to, I haven't proposed it to you guys, but I always had in the back of my mind that we do a subscriber-only edition one night, like where the guests are all subscribers, like as a reward. That was one of my thought process.
Oh,
yeah?
No,
I think
live show.
Again, another reason to subscribe. We have I am literally blown away by the amount of subscribers we have, but we can always do with more. So,
yeah. And I think if we just do the where'd my spinning wheel go? It must be on another page. I was looking for my little spinning wheel.
Yeah. So we've got a few things up our sleeve actually coming up for Bar Karate, starting the new financial year, one of which is being the spinning wheel, Jordan. Yes. He's nailed it. There'll be a lucky spinning wheel for our subscribers only, and they'll all be in the running to win whatever.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
Whatever is on the wheel. So again, subscribe. We won't bombard you with any, just spam. We'll just bombard you with address to send money to, basically.
That's it.
Cool.
Very, very good.
Well,
right.
Hey,
get that music on.
Oh, it's already there, BP.
Hey. All good.
I had it going because I could just sense we're about to finish up. So, all right. Again, another great one. Again, try and predict the theme for the next 3 weeks. See if you can work it out. And just
maybe we'll give a prize out for that.
Maybe.
Got the merchandise back?
Yeah, another merch back. I haven't even got a stubby holder yet.
Stubby cooler.
All right.
I'm working on it.
All right. I'll leave you in peace. Good to speak to you again. Thanks, Annalise. Lovely to chat. And
yes.
Listeners, have
cheers,
a
gents.
great week.
Cheers all.
All my stars are out tonight. Take me where the wind